9 AD. For centuries, Rome had conquered every land it touched. Legions crossed mountains, deserts, and seas, carving the empire's name into history. To Rome, no army could stand against its might. No nation could defy its will. But beyond the Rhine River lay a forest that didn't kneel. The Romans called it Germania. Endless trees, cold mists, tribes who vanished into the woods like spirits. It was there, in that sea of fog and pine, that Rome met its reckoning. Not at the hands of a rival empire, but of its own arrogance. Part 1. The Governor and the Guide. The man in charge was Publius Quinctilius Varus, a Roman noble, proud and confident. He was ordered to bring Roman law and order to Germania. Taxes, courts, civilization, that was the idea. Marching beside him were 3 legions. The 17th, the 18th, the 19th. Nearly 20,000 soldiers, veterans of conquest, wrapped in iron and discipline. Among them was a man named Arminius. Young, brilliant, Roman-trained. He'd fought for Rome, spoke Latin fluently, and earned their trust. But Arminius wasn't truly Roman. He was Germanic, a son of the forest, carrying a secret Rome didn't see coming. Part 2. The Deception. Arminius warned Varus of a rebellion deep in the woods. He said local tribes were rising, that only a quick march could suppress it. Varus believed him. Why wouldn't he? Arminius had dined at his table, fought at his side. So the governor gave the order. The legions would march. What he didn't know was that Arminius had spent months uniting the scattered tribes of Germania. Enemies who once fought each other now swore vengeance together. And Varus was leading his entire army straight into their trap. Part 3. Into the Teutoburg forest. The march began under gray skies. Rain turned the roads into rivers of mud. Wagons broke. Horses struggled. The Roman line stretched for miles, soldiers, civilians, slaves, and supplies crawling through narrow forest paths. Then, the first spear flew. It came from nowhere. Then another, and another. The forest erupted with screams and thunder. From the trees came the Germanic warriors, painted, wild, silent, until that very moment. They struck from every side, vanishing as quickly as they appeared. The Romans tried to form ranks, but the terrain made it impossible. Shields tangled in branches. The ground itself turned against them. What was once a legion became a desperate mob. Part 4. 3 days of night. The ambush didn't end that day. It lasted 3. Rain poured without mercy. Wounded men sank into the mud, calling out for help that never came. Varus ordered his troops to burn their wagons to lighten the load. But even then, the forest kept closing in. On the second day, the tribes attacked again, stronger, bolder. They had home advantage. The Romans had nowhere left to run. By the third day, it was over. Varus, realizing the inevitable, fell on his own sword. His officers followed. The few survivors who tried to flee were hunted down and executed. When the forest finally went silent, 20,000 Romans were gone. Not captured. Not defeated in open battle. Erased. Part 5. The Forest of Bones. Months later, a Roman patrol stumbled upon the site. What they saw broke them. Skulls nailed to trees. Armor rusting under moss. Helmets split in 2, half buried in mud. And the sacred eagles, Rome's symbols of power, taken as trophies. It wasn't just a defeat. It was desecration. When news reached Rome, Emperor Augustus collapsed. He tore his robes and shouted through the palace, "Varus, give me back my legions." But the legions never returned. Their numbers XVII, XIIIX were never used again, erased from Roman history. Part 6. the shadow that changed an empire. For the first time, Rome stopped expanding north. The empire built fortresses instead of roads, walls instead of dreams, and the forest beyond the Rhine became a boundary between two worlds, civilization and the untamed wild. Arminius became a legend among his people. To the Germans, he was a hero, the man who broke the empire. To the Romans, he was a traitor, a ghost they could never capture, and a wound they could never forget. Part 7, 2,000 years later. Even today, archaeologists still uncover the bones of that battle. Arrowheads, chains, coins stamped with Varus's seal, silent witnesses to a day when arrogance met the wilderness and lost. The Teutoburg forest stands quiet now, but beneath its soil lie 20,000 men who learned a brutal truth, that even the greatest empire can vanish between the trees. Closing. History often remembers Rome for its victories, but its defeats tell us far more about what it means to be human. Hubris, trust, betrayal, and the haunting cost of believing you're untouchable. This was the day Rome stopped being immortal. This was where 20,000 Romans walked into death. Welcome to Obscura Vault, where history breathes, bleeds, and never truly stays buried.